There exists a moment, subtle yet undeniable, a space that lives between what has already passed and what has not yet arrived. It is a threshold, a crossing point where time itself seems to bend and pause, where the ordinary dissolves into something extraordinary. In this space, the world holds its breath. Every sound feels sharper, every silence feels deeper, and beneath the surface of your daily life, something profound begins to stir. You are standing in that moment right now, whether you are conscious of it or not. Look carefully. Look closer than you ever have. Notice how the texture of your days has been changing, even in ways that seem too small to mention. The conversations you're having now carry a different weight, as though each word is charged with hidden meaning. People you have not thought of in years suddenly cross your path, appearing at the exact moment you need them. The answers you have been chasing for months, maybe years, now arrive unannounced, disguised as coincidences, carried by unexpected sources. Do not mistake these moments as random. They are not accidents. They are the opening notes of a symphony that has been quietly composing itself around you for far longer than you realize. What you are sensing now is not guesswork or fantasy. It is the emergence of a very real, very consistent pattern, a pattern that shows up right before profound alignments occur. What is unfolding in your life follows a sequence, a choreography, that reveals itself every time the universe begins orchestrating circumstances to deliver something significant, something transformative, directly into your reality. And the reason you are hearing this now, at this precise instant, is because you are already within this process. You are not standing outside of it, you are inside it, immersed in its current, whether or not you have found the words for it yet. Most people spend their entire lives unaware of these patterns. They feel the shifts, they sense the turbulence, they catch the whispers of change, but they dismiss it. They shrug it off as imagination, as wishful thinking, as coincidence. They are so tightly focused on what they can see, touch, and control that they blind themselves to the architecture that is quietly being built around the shape of their future. But not you. You would not be here if that were you. Something in you has already been stirring. A quiet, restless knowing has taken root inside your chest. You may not be able to explain it, but you feel it. You feel the rearranging, the recalibration, the invisible currents guiding you somewhere you cannot yet name. That is not your imagination. That is alignment beginning to reveal itself. Here is what unfolds in the weeks and months before everything clicks into place. The first stage is subtle. It begins with your internal compass shifting. Things that once consumed you no longer grip you in the same way. Old desires lose their shine. Goals you once thought were unshakable begin to feel strangely irrelevant. You may wake up one day and find yourself questioning decisions you never questioned before. You may feel a restlessness, a disconnection from situations that once felt like home. You may notice yourself pulling away from outcomes that used to define you. This is not confusion. This is clarity arriving in disguise. Your deeper wisdom, the wisdom that has always lived underneath the noise of your thoughts, is preparing you. It is dissolving attachments that no longer serve your highest path. The universe cannot pour new wine into full cups. It does not drop major alignments into lives already cluttered with what no longer belongs. Before the new arrives, space must be created. And so, naturally, gently, the things that do not fit your becoming begin to loosen their hold. You will notice relationships shifting too, not always in conflict, but in vibration. Certain people will start to feel foreign, as though you are growing beyond the language you once shared with them. Others will appear suddenly, carrying precisely the energy, the insight, or the opportunity that you need in this very season. This is not rejection. This is not abandonment. This is the magnetic field around your life reorganizing itself, aligning itself with the frequency of where you are being drawn. Then the second stage begins, what can only be called the acceleration effect. Time itself starts to play tricks on you. Some days feel impossibly long, like entire lifetimes are packed inside of them. Other weeks vanish in what feels like a breath. Yet, it is not only your perception of time that shifts. The rhythm of your life itself accelerates. Events arrive faster than you can process. Insights come not in whispers but in floods. Synchronicities multiply at a speed that feels almost impossible. This acceleration is not chaos. It is calibration. The universe is compressing your learning curve, exposing you to the people, the experiences, and the knowledge you will need rapidly so that you are prepared for what is next. It is here that most people feel overwhelmed because they make the mistake of trying to manage each event, to analyze each detail, to force an explanation for every sign. But acceleration is not meant to be controlled. It is meant to be surfed, like a wave. To fight it is to drown. To ride it is to arrive exactly where you are meant to. You will know you are in this phase when you start experiencing what I call preview transmissions. They appear as conversations that feel eerily designed for you, as books or videos that appear at precisely the moment you needed them, as dreams that carry more weight than waking life, as flashes of knowing that no logic could ever provide. Understand this. These transmissions are not showing you possibilities. They are not glimpses of what could happen if you are lucky. They are glimpses of what is already moving toward you, of realities already forming in dimensions beyond your immediate perception. They are trailers for your own becoming. The third stage is where things get even more profound and more demanding. This is where your old identity begins to dissolve, not in a violent shattering, but in a quiet unweaving. Beliefs, habits, and stories you have carried for years suddenly feel too heavy to keep holding. You may hear yourself saying things you never thought you would say, making choices that surprise even you, feeling called toward directions that once seemed impossible. You are not fabricating a new self here. You are shedding what was never truly yours. This is not a project you are undertaking. It is a current moving through you, reshaping the riverbed of your being. Like water carving new channels after the landscape has shifted, your life is naturally, inevitably rerouting itself toward truth. In this stage, challenges often arise. They look like tests, but they are not punishments. They are initiations. Each one is designed with precision, requiring you to embody the very qualities you will need for the reality ahead. Where you once hesitated, courage is now demanded. Where you once tried to control, trust is now essential. Where you once performed, authenticity becomes non-negotiable. These challenges are building your capacity, because what no one tells you is that major alignments are not only about receiving, they're about sustaining. They do not just change your circumstances, they change your very relationship with reality. What once felt impossible will start to feel inevitable. What once drained you will flow with ease. Decisions that once left you paralyzed will feel like second nature. This is not confidence you are practicing. This is knowing rising from a place deeper than your mind could ever reach. Then comes the fourth stage. This is the stage of reflection, when the external begins to mirror the internal in ways you cannot ignore. Suddenly, opportunities not only appear, they pursue you. People are drawn to you for reasons they cannot explain, seeking out the energy that radiates from your transformation. Resources do not just become available, they arrange themselves as though the world itself has decided to conspire in your favor. But it is also here that the old world makes its final attempt to reclaim you. Everything you are leaving behind will call out to you more loudly than ever. Old relationships may return, cloaked in nostalgia. Old opportunities may resurface, dressed in tempting new terms. The life you have outgrown will offer itself as the safer path, the more practical choice. Do not mistake this pull for a warning. It is not the universe telling you to turn back. It is the last contraction before birth. The pull backward always intensifies just before the breakthrough forward. Time in this stage grows even stranger. Moments stretch into eternities. Minutes collapse into nothing. A silence in your room can feel so dense, so alive, that it seems to contain worlds. You are not losing touch with reality. You are discovering that reality itself is far more fluid, far more malleable than you were taught. And in this space, you begin receiving what can only be described as confirmation downloads. These are not insights you learn. They are recognitions that arrive whole, as though you are remembering something you always knew. Solutions appear not by problem solving, but by recognition. Patterns that were invisible suddenly glow with clarity. Connections reveal themselves beyond the logic of linear thought. You simply know, without reason, and the knowing feels truer than anything you have ever reasoned yourself into. Then comes the fifth and final stage, the alignment itself. Not a moment of fireworks or drama, but a doorway. A doorway you suddenly realize was open all along. You step through almost without effort, and yet everything is different. One day you wake and see your reflection, and though the face is yours, the presence behind it feels entirely new. The life you are living suddenly matches the life you always sensed was possible, though you could never quite reach it before. And what is most astonishing about this phase is how natural it feels. All the turbulence, the doubt, the waiting, it all dissolves into obviousness. Not because you can explain it with logic, but because you feel it in your bones. The timing reveals itself as perfect. The challenges reveal themselves as preparation. The detours reveal themselves as the exact road you needed. But do not mistake this for an ending. Alignment is not a finish line. It is not a destination where you unpack and stay forever. Alignment is a way of being. It is a rhythm you can return to again and again, each time deeper, each time opening you to even greater possibilities. The signals you are feeling now, the restlessness, the synchronicities, the undeniable sense that something is building, they are not leading you to one single arrival. They are inducting you into a new relationship with reality itself, a life where you collaborate with the currents rather than resist them, where you allow rather than force, where you remember rather than chase. This is not just a better version of what you know. This is a transformation of the way you exist, a return to a truth that has always been available but often obscured beneath the noise of striving and control. And the most beautiful revelation of all, this beginning is only the beginning. Once you cross this threshold, once you experience life in alignment, you realize that what you thought was your destination was merely the first step of a much grander unfolding. Each alignment expands into another. Each doorway opens onto more doors. Each threshold reveals more thresholds. If your chest stirs as you hear this, if part of you feels the recognition rising, this is your confirmation. You are already deep in your alignment process. The recalibration, the acceleration, the transmissions, the dissolutions, the reflections, they have been happening in your life all along, even when you could not name them. And now, with awareness, you no longer need to fight the current. You can let it carry you. You can allow the river to deliver you to the ocean it has always been flowing toward. Remember, alignment is not a single event. It is not something that happens once and leaves you unchanged. It is a dance, a rhythm, a frequency that you can attune to again and again for as long as you are alive. What is happening in your life now is not the end of something. It is the overture of something vast. The threshold you are standing on is not leading to a small improvement of your current story. It is ushering you into an entirely new way of existing. One where synchronicity is not occasional, but constant. Where timing does not surprise you, but flows through you. Where the extraordinary is no longer an exception, but the texture of everyday life. The signals are all around you. The alignment is already unfolding, and your new beginning, your truest beginning, starts now.